Hey Crafty Mavens, welcome to the June video hop, and this month we are taking two letters from the Crafty Maven Hop and using them to inspire layouts. The two letters that I chose were H and O. So for the H, I'm going to do hidden journaling, and for the O, I'm going to do ombre, which you'll see how I do my ombre here as we go in the video. The first thing here that I'm doing, however, is I'm taking some white cardstock, which will act as my background, and I'm just taking my blender brush and two of my sort of turquoisey blue colors of Distress Oxide ink, and I am just inking up my background to give it some interest. And what I'm really trying to do is sort of create kind of like a sky design on the background, at least for the top of the page. The bottom of the page is going to have other elements on it, so I don't need to cover the entire page, but ultimately I'm trying to make it sort of like a sky. And so I really love these two colors blended together. I think it really kind of fits perfectly with this layout and the theme of it. Now here you see I have pulled in some pattern papers. I'm going to fussy cut some of those kites off camera, as well as some of those little bows on that pattern paper. Next, I have, as you just saw, the file folder. I cut that on my silhouette, and I just went and found a file folder cut file, sized it up, and that is going to be where I put my journaling. And on top of the file folder, I am going to mat my photo as you see me doing here, and then that is going to go on top of the file folder. So the journaling will be under the photo and inside of the file folder. I just put a simple piece of white cardstock inside the file folder, and so I will actually write a little letter to my son on that white cardstock. And I also added on the tab part a little piece of white cardstock as well, which I cover up the majority of it. I just wanted something so that I could actually have it show up. That cardstock is pretty dark, so if I was to write or stamp something on that tab, you wouldn't have seen it. So here I'm just sizing everything up on that file folder, taking just some pattern papers. These are all from my June stash kit that I put together. And so I just took some papers. I'm kind of sticking to that turquoise and yellow sort of color scheme for this layout, and so I'm just going to layer up my papers and put my photo on, and that will be again where my hidden journaling is. This for me is probably one of my favorite layouts that I've done recently, and I say that, and it's when you see the final layout, it actually is really, really simple, but I love the statement of those kites. I love this picture, and I just love the title and how everything comes together. So yeah, this is definitely one of those layouts where I finished it and I really loved how it turned out. The picture is actually just a picture of my son, and he's got a sword in his hand, and this kid has one of the best imaginations. I just love it, and that's sort of what I'm going to talk about in the journaling behind the photo, is just how much I love his amazing imagination and that he just amazes me. And so just a little note to him that he can read someday. Now here you see I've also on my silhouette gone ahead and cut part of my title out, and for my title I'm actually using a quote from Walt Disney, and so I cut out 3 of the words from the quote. Now, I laid those out not only so I could figure out how much space they were going to take up, but also because I wanted to know where they were going to be so that I could draw the tails for my kites. My plan here, as I kind of am trying to design how my little strings for my kites are going to go, my plan here is I'm going to actually hand stitch the kites to the paper and make their little tails. So this, I definitely do not make you watch me do this on camera, because yeah, it took quite a while, but I did leave in me just sort of drawing out my tails. I think I start the paper piercing process, and then I will do all the stitching and things off camera, because yeah, this was a labor of love, this layout. But again, like I said, it is absolutely one of my most favorite layouts that I've done lately. And so yeah, here you see I'm just grabbing my little board, and I'm going to take my paper piercer here in a second and start putting all those holes in. I just eyeball it. I don't try to be exact. It's very homemade looking, and that's what I love about it. So while you are watching me put these down and get ready to do the piercing, I did want to make sure to let you know that all of the ladies' videos for the blog hop are listed below. So be sure to follow the hop and give some love to all of the creators on the Crafty Maven. We absolutely love doing these hops. They've been really fun to put together. And so make sure you subscribe and give some love to all of the other creators on the hop. And here you see now I have finally gotten to the point where I am piercing all of those kites, and then there you see I'm going to do 3 different colors of embroidery, and there you have it. It is all done. That definitely took a while, but like I said, I love the look. It makes me happy when I look at it. Next, here is where my ombre comes in. I have glued down my title, and now I am taking 3 colors of ink in sort of a progression from light to dark of sort of greeny turquoise colors that match everything that I have going on in the layout. Now the lightest, I know on camera, from what I can see at least, it does look really light. However, when you see the layout in person, it really is not, it's not that light. You can definitely read the title, but on camera it reads that it's a bit lighter than the way it looks. So I'm just going through, I'm taking those Lawn Fawn letters, figuring out the letters that I need. What I love about that Lawn Fawn stamp is it has multiples of letters. So I'm able to literally write out my entire title all at once. It's awesome. I can't say enough. I always forget that I have stamps and that I really need to use them. So doing a layout like this reminds me like, hey, I need to pull those out, and those stamps are perfect for this because I have multiple letters. It's great. So there you see my stamping is all done, and my title actually says, "Laughter is timeless, imagination has no age, dreams are forever," and that was from Walt Disney. So there you see I've got everything placed on the layout, and here is where my embellishing is going to come in. Now, like I said, this layout, I keep the embellishing extremely simple. I just layer up a few stickers there in the bottom corner of the photo. I put a few stickers on some of the kites here, and actually I start with putting these black, thinking that I'm going to use these black sort of foam thicker, but I end up taking those off, as you'll see here in just a second. I have a couple of different sticker sheets that were in my June stash kit, and so that's where I'm pulling sort of all these different little word phrases. That is what I'm going to end up putting on those kites. And I actually put another one over by, or over on the tab as well. And I believe that one actually says "Just a Little Adventure." And then the other ones on the kites say "More Than This" and "Cute, Cute," because, well, he is for sure. And so, like I said, I really kept the embellishing on this one really simple. I really didn't think with the large title and the kites and then the hand stitching that it needed a whole lot. I felt like it really, the simpler the embellishing, the better, because it really draws your eye to the title and just to the photo. And I love this picture of my son. So to finish off sort of the kites and the little clusters that I do have, I just added some of these puffy or enamel stars, I guess they are. And then last, I think I'm kind of going through and trying to see, do I really want to add anything else? Ultimately, I decide not to add any additional stickers, but I do kind of think about it and fuss around for a few seconds to try to figure out, do I want something else? I kept thinking like, wow, this is really simple. I don't know if I can do such a simple layout, but ultimately, yes, it does stay. As you see, I do, however, add in some sequins. And at first you see me kind of somewhat randomly putting them around the page. And I after I did this, I realized that I didn't like it. I felt like it drew too much, even though the sequins aren't like super bright, I felt like it just drew too much attention away. And so I end up just doing about 3 in each of the sort of clusters, I guess you could say. So that for me just kind of finished off the layout and didn't make it too busy. So yeah, you will see that here as I kind of am playing around with the sequins, I'm realizing as I'm kind of moving them around that, yeah, I'm not loving having them just all over the place. So there you see, I'm now sort of placing them more in sort of 3 around each of the sort of clusters that I have going on the page. And so ultimately that is where they end up, and I really love how it turns out. So I will get those glued down, and that will be the end of this layout. There will be still photos coming up at the end, and as I said earlier, please make sure that you hop through the video hop and take a look at all the other amazing ladies and what they created for our hop this month. And with that, guys, I will leave you with the still photos and catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.